So today we're going to hop into kind of the difference between the national housing market and what we're seeing in San Diego. Since all real estate is super local, keep an eye on the national picture is good, kind of see what's going on as a whole. But if you're selling your house right here in San Diego, obviously the more local you could get, the better. So if you like charts, this is a good video for you because we're going to hop in and show you some visuals of the number of sales, kind of what's happening nationally compared to what's happening right now over the past few years. So you get a good picture of where we're actually at right now, because over the past few years, 2021, the first half of 2022, it's been a lot different market than we had seen kind of traditionally in prior to that, and kind of what we think we're going into right now. So let's jump into kind of what we're seeing out there. We'll break them down and put it in plain English so you know what's going on in national versus San Diego. And as always, if you guys need some help, you're thinking about moving, want to start the conversation, we are real estate agents right here in North County, San Diego. So hit us up, call, text, email. We got your back when moving here in and around North County, San Diego. So let's jump into the first chart, which is the national existing home sales.
Let's chart it up. Let's see what's going on.
It's chart time. All right, break it down for us, Lauren, what we're seeing over here.
Well, the interesting thing about this chart is this is U.S. existing home sales, and this is following from 2012 forward to now. The darkest line was 2021. So we're comparing, and the purple line is this year. So we're comparing, if you look at it, out of the chute, the years look very similar. When you start off the first few months of the year, it looks the black and the purple are right on each other. And then you start seeing the effects of interest rates going up. From June on, it starts falling off. But really, it's kind of in the pack with the past number of years. It's right in the middle of the pack until we get to June also, and then it falls off. So part of the reason for that is this crazy 2021 we had, where the market just took off and was nuts. And also I'll include the first quarter of 2022 in that. There was just no inventory, low interest rates. Availability was still low here. The number of sales homes available was low, but they were churning through pretty quick. In the end, this year's going to look a little off. It's going to look a lot off from 2021, but that's an outlier. It's not going to, we're not going to see a year like 2021, probably maybe in our careers again, because unless interest rates get back down to 2 3/4, which I've never seen in 32 years. So we saw that for 1 year, basically, of the 30 plus years I've been doing this. So,
and one of the things with the diverging lines, that 2021 line, that is when interest rates were sub 3% or just at 3%. And where it started to diverge in May, June, July, that's when interest rates started popping up, which means transaction volume has gone down because there's less buyers out there because the affordability has gone down. So that's one of the big stories that we're tracking right now is where are interest rates going, because that's going to have a big impact on what we see right here in our local market, which we have seen it trend down even off of its peak above 7%. Now we're trending a little bit towards that 6% interest rate. So coming into the new year, that's going to have a big effect on what we see here locally. Next chart is going to be our sold listings 2012 through our current right now.
This is North County and North County Coastal, just for the orange is North County Coastal and the other line is North County as a whole. San Diego, by the way.
And so you highlighted the 2019 we were chatting before. What were you saying about the kind of where we're at now compared to the chart back here that's highlighted?
Yeah, we're still above that number for 2022. We're similar to where we were in 2019 in November. We're also similar to where we were in 2013, November 20. We're above 2014. The thing to take out of this chart really is real estate cyclical. You can kind of see the rolling nature of it. And then you see this vertical climb that looks like you're going up Everest or something. And so there's going to be a fall off from that, the natural fall off with interest rates over double from what they were when we started the year. That's a big impact. That's another thing we've never seen. So 2022 and 2021, both you're going to see things that we haven't seen as long as I've been doing this, where rates got so low and things went crazy and inventory got so low. And then we're seeing rates go up significantly very quickly and the number of sales trend down. But the one thing to note with all of this too, if we go to the next slide, Chris, is inventory levels back in 2012, if you look at them, significantly higher, 6 months supply, 7 months supply, previous years. The norm around here is really 3.5 to 4.5 was kind of a normal range of inventory. And when you look at that trend, the number of homes for sale, we're still on the very lower end of that, even after all this interest rates rise and home sales slowing significantly. There's also still not that many homes for sale that are really good houses, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So the story to take away from that, if you're a seller and you think, oh man, I missed this big boom, yeah, you might have missed the top 10% of it. You might have missed a little bit off the top, but overall for the past 5 years, you're still in the top, 80% of where we've been numbers, price wise. So,
Yeah. And a lot of the housing market comes down to when we look at inventory, you guys are like, what's inventory? It's just the number of houses for sale if everything's sold. If there's no more houses coming on, how long would it take to get rid of all the houses on the market? So the lower this number is, meaning there's less supply. The simple thing is supply, the number of sellers versus demand, the number of buyers. You can see that peak that we did see in 2012, that was coming off the last housing crash, and compare it to where we are way down here. It did get super low in 2021. It's kind of trended up just a touch though, even from, if you're reading headlines or anything about, what's going on, transactions are significantly down, meaning there's a lot less buyers out there, but there's also less sellers. So it's keeping that number low. So if you are thinking about selling, one thing you got to think about is the competition out there, the other number of people selling their house. And that is still super low compared to even where our typical, like Lauren was saying, 3.5 to 4.5, right in this range here.
Yeah, historically it's low, and these numbers are smoothed out. They're 12 months running versus if I did this month to month, it would be all over the place, and you would see that we got down a number of times down to like half a month supply of inventory.
Yeah.
So if no new listings came on in 2 weeks, there would be zero for sale in certain areas, and we saw that. Like I remember we were talking about this earlier in Aviara, where there was one detached home for sale in 92011. And you're like. At different times. It's so many anomalies this year, just different outliers that it's going to be hard for anybody to predict moving forward how it plays out exactly. But if you're thinking about buying or selling, make sure who you're talking to is watching these things so they can bring you right up to speed with your current neighborhood market, city market, those kind of things.
And that's why hopping into this next chart, this is the national level. This is from Redfin Data Center, which you have access to if you want to go check out, if you like charts and see what's going on. But this is all national level. And this lower line here, which I'll show you, it just comparing year over year, the number of new listings, meaning the number of new homes coming on the market, it is down 21.5% compared to this time last year. So you look at that nationally, you're like, wow, that's quite a bit. But if you look at it locally, this is San Diego County, it's down over 40%. It just goes back to that number again, like how many houses are coming on the market. It's significantly less. And traditionally, we do see it less during this time anyways, December coming into the new year. But still, that number, you can see it's still below the last few years here, no matter what year you look at. So you can see, Lauren, as far as numbers of homes, you were saying the client you had that you sent to Boise. You want to share that story?
Yeah. So, I mean, for context, in San Diego, I still feel we're on a really low level of inventory of good homes. We're about 1.7 months supply right now. I have a referral that went out to buy in Boise Meridian specifically, which is just outside of Boise. And they looked at 38 homes before they found the home he wanted in 500,000 to 700,000 price range. But think about that. If you came to Chris or myself and said, "Hey, I'm looking in North County and I really want a house that's $1,250,000 to $1,550,000 or something like that." If you were in Encinitas, we go, "Okay, there's 2 or 3 that we can look at today."
Yeah,
and it goes up and down, but
there's not 38.
There's not 38. That would be interesting, is to look at in certain price brackets in the whole county how many there are. But in North County, there's only 200 and something houses for sale right now in North County. So picture it that way. So it's different. It's going to be hard to see we hear talk of crash all the time. Prices crashing. We're decelerating and we're getting down to where we're going to be. If we look, probably by the end of this year for North County coastal, prices will still be up. For San Diego as a whole, they'll probably be flat to maybe down a little bit, maybe, or
Yeah.
maybe up a little bit. We don't know till all the numbers play out. So when you look at that, you would think it's the end of the world, but prices were in the end flat this year.
Yeah, as for sellers, don't expect what we had seen over the last 2 years, where you had this trajectory kind of going. Now we're seeing kind of a moderation of where we're at right here, expecting that to continue until interest rates. We'll see what happens with those. If they do fall significantly, then I would expect prices to accelerate quite a bit too for any buyers who over the last few years. And there's a ton of buyers, obviously, we saw come out. Those buyers, a lot of them did not get into houses. So if the interest rates get back into kind of that lower range of, 5.5, 5 below, somewhere in that range, we can see the buyer demand come back up quite significantly, once again, driving the prices up. But as of right now, for sellers, don't expect that feeding frenzy that we had over the past few years. And if you guys are thinking about selling in the new year, it's never too early to start that conversation. So quick reminder, we are real estate agents right here in North County, San Diego. If you guys need anything, numbers popping up right now. Hit us up, call, text, email. We got your back when making the move in North County.